Welcome back to another Scrimba Live. As you know, today we are hopefully talking to Michael. I say hopefully because he's not here, as you can see. I hope he's coming in a minute because nobody wants to listen to me talk about GitHub. That would be useless. Unless you want to listen to realize how much more you know than me, I guess. In the meantime, I will beep on about the weekly web dev challenge. Yes, this one here is an accessibility challenge based on what we learned last week with Carrie Fisher, Senior Accessibility Trainer. That's the wrong one. That's my channel. Accidental plug. Yes, here we learned all about accessibility, and now I have a challenge about it too. So why not give it a go? Yes, Michael's here now. Yeah, Ollie, he's still in his box. He's out of his box now. So hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Dan Pitts, you were second today. Yeah. Kevin says, I should probably learn how to get started with GitHub first.
Oh, yeah. We've got a video.
Refers to this. By all means, go and watch this after the stream. It will be very handy for you. But if you haven't watched it yet, do not worry, because you never know what kind of useful information you're going to pick up. So
that's right.
Stay tuned, I would say. And you can always go to that one afterwards. Yeah, I would say, oh, crikey. Yeah, lovely. Who else is here? So many people. Wow. If you're new, type a rabbit. And if you've been here before, type a tiger. That's the word for it. Yes. Hello. 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 Oh, LinkedIn user. Hello. Yes, I forgot. We're streaming to LinkedIn.
Are we?
We are. Yes, LinkedIn, GitHub, Twitch. Yes.
Cool.
Prasanth says, I have done the GitHub token thingy for Android Studio, but haven't done it for Visual Studio Code. You know what that means?
You will learn how to do it today.
Okay, that's what we want to hear. Great news.
There we go.
Oh, lots of tigers. Ooh. But also lots of rabbits. Yes. Okay then, Michael.
Yeah.
So what are we going to learn today?
Tigers, lots of rabbits.
Yeah. So what have we got on today then?
Cool. Yeah. So today we will learn how to resolve GitHub conflicts.
Hooray.
And also we will learn how to set up your SSH keys, because these, GitHub conflicts is painful, but SSH keys usually, it's something you do every time you join a new job. And it's a little bit daunting because they just kind of say, set up your SSH keys, and that's kind of it. So what you do want to do is, it's better to have some warning ahead of time. But luckily, there are really good documentation. There's really good documentation, and it shouldn't really be that bad. So it should be pretty good.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, and also if you missed, I think, somewhere over there should be chat on YouTube. And Leanne probably already shared the previous session where you can learn how to create a repository, how to do branches, how to clone.
And other stuff. Where is it? That one? No, that's this one.
I don't think you're sharing.
I know. I'm trying to get the link.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that.
Here we go. Here's the link
Here we go.
to the previous one, if you would like to watch. And here it is. Here are we.
Oh, look at that. I was wearing a different shirt. Oh, well.
That.
I was wearing my other shirt.
That was over a month ago. So, yes, on that topic, Dan Pitts says, Michael's looking clean. Good news.
Isn't clean shaven?
Eye of the tiger. I don't know.
Cool.
Trevor says, SSH keys always take me days. So looking forward to this help.
Okay.
I don't even know what they are. So.
Awesome. Okay. So, let's firstly start with something a bit more straightforward. So I have already set up repository for all of us. So I have already set up, and I invited you into that repository as well, Leanne.
You did.
And Leanne didn't want to accept invitation or anything like that.
I did.
So.
Oh, Caffeinated Pixels likes my plants. Thank you. My pride and joy. Apart from pumpkin.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to my repository that I've set up previously, and if you want to have a look at it, you can do that yourself too. So it's just Alan Miner, which is my name, and then Git 102 because the previous one was 101.
Yeah.
Hey. Anyway, so that's Git 102, and then I have created 2 branches. So one of them is called conflict, and another one is called maybe conflict. Anyway, there's not really much to it. It's just one file, so we're trying to make this as straightforward as possible. And what we are basically going to do then is try to resolve some of the conflicts. So I had a pull request over here, so for these 2. And basically a conflict occurs when, for example, you have one file, like as in, I'll just display it on readmes, and let me just zoom in a little bit so it's a little easier. So the conflict would appear, for example, if someone edits a line and then someone already made further changes to it, and then you're trying to bring your changes once the thing has moved on. It's kind of like, you know, you're going on an alternative timeline, you're trying to do your thing, and then the previous time has already moved on, and potentially when you're coming back, you're not really coming back to anything meaningful anymore. So let's say if I decide to remove this line and someone else removes this line instead, and then they push to main, then I'm already out of date. And when I'm trying to merge it all together, it's quite likely that we'll encounter a conflict. So what happened here, so for example, if I go to the first branch, you will see that I say file changes. I can click on that.
Oh no, red things.
Well, this is okay. So there is, I basically made some changes. So I've changed some wording from there is a conflict and conflict branch, saying, look at this awesome branch, there is no conflict, that's it, like it shouldn't be. But when you're doing a PR, what GitHub tells you is that it says conflicting files, and it tells you which file you've got a conflict in. And you can click this button that says resolve conflicts.
That looks tempting.
Yeah, you click on that.
I feel like there might be drawbacks to doing that.
Yeah, mainly because kind of this editor, well, it kind of sucks. So there's no two ways about it. But basically, it gives you the line. It highlights with these exactly what the conflict is. So we can see that it looks like the same line over here was changed. And now you have to choose which one is better, which one you want to keep and which one you need to delete. So it basically says there is this piece of code in branch conflict. This is the branch name, and this is another branch name. So it basically delineates 2 separate ones. It basically tells you that inside of branch conflict, you have this line of code, and inside of, this is like a separator, there is another line of code that is in the main, and Git tells you, I don't know which one you want, so tell me. Normally, it tries to figure it out as best as it can, but oftentimes, when conflict occurs, it basically gives up and says, you decide now.
So just to recap, conflict is a separate branch, and the line in main is different to the one,
Correct.
The same line in conflict.
Correct.
And now it's asking you which one you want. But who can actually choose this? Can anyone do that?
Yeah, basically all the maintainers. So for example, when you go to the maintainers of your project or something, I'm not entirely, I can't remember where you see it.
Contributors?
Oh, there we go, yeah. That might be based on data rather than, yeah, it doesn't tell you how many people actually belong to this. But anyway, yeah, so what you can see is, for example, when I'm in main branch, so So here is this line. It says there is a conflict in conflict branch, maybe not, who knows? And when I go to the other branch, on this line, there's a different text.
Makes sense. Just to recap on the chat.
Yeah.
How can you do this at the prompt?
We will cover that. Yeah.
I'll come to that a bit later. Yes, you look clean shaven. As do I. I'm glad I look clean shaven. I'll be worried if I didn't. Are we going to cover?
I envy that you don't have to shave at all.
Yeah. Are we going to discuss about the differences between SSH and HTTP?
Very briefly, because to be honest, when you join an organization, you're not going to be debating the merits of it. Kind of, your organization will tell you use SSH to clone your repositories, and you won't really have much say in this. So academically, there is a point to discuss this, but I don't think that we'll have enough time to cover this in this stream.
Yes, we've got some poetry.
Yeah.
Nagamuna, Scream Bar.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, very good. Yes,
yeah,
okay.
Very good.
So we've identified there is a conflict, and we've got to do something about it.
So we've identified there is a conflict. So basically what we're going to do is we'll go in, and as I already mentioned, resolve conflict. So what you do is you literally decide, these are called conflict markers. So you really want to remove them. So I, for example, need to have, look at this awesome branch. I prefer this text. So what I can do is I can remove these markers, remove the line that I don't want, and remove the last marker. And that's what I want. So then I can just hit it. I can choose like prev and next. It basically tells it like, show me the next or the previous conflict if you've got multiple. But I feel like if you've got multiple, you need to go into your VS Code. And we will try to do that next. So, and that's it. You can just say, mark as resolved. It gives you a green tick saying that, okay, cool, I don't see any conflict markers. That's amazing. And now we commit merge. And there you go. It basically says that you have resolved this, merged into conflict, and then you can merge pull request. Cool. And you confirm merge.
So is that merging it onto the main now?
Yeah, it's now in main. And there you go. I've deleted the branch, cleaned this up. Cool. So then you're like, okay, let's review another conflict. And I've been really productive with creating conflicts. So there you go.
For a change.
Yeah. And there we go. It says this branch has conflicts that you must resolve again. And then you can do the same thing again, but you can see that this is a little bit of a bigger problem to resolve. So you're like, yeah, I'm not doing this through the editor because I'm not entirely sure. I want syntax highlighting and the rest of it. So we'll go and have a look into command line how to do that from your local machine
shortly, after we have looked at this question from Palmvir.
Sure.
So basically, a conflict occurs when the changes happen inside the same file.
Yes, it could be because you have removed the file, you have created a new file, someone else has created the same file with the same name, and now Git doesn't know which one to keep. It's basically whenever you're treading on the toes of, like, between the developers, you will have conflicts. Yeah.
Shrians asks, can you explain in a basic way how to create a project on GitHub? I always get confused. I think it's actually worth doing that.
The basic way how to create a project on GitHub. We have covered that in our previous stream.
Do you think it's worth going over now?
I'm afraid that we might run out of time if we do that.
We might do.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case,
but if we have time,
previous one.
Yeah.
And it's all in there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okie dokie. What is SSH? We will come to that later on, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Cool.
On we go.
Awesome.
So
on we go.
We could change this here, but because this editor's not the best, it's easier to do it elsewhere. That's
right. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire up our terminal.
It's just clearing out the rubbish I type in my terminal endlessly.
Yeah.
Can you zoom that?
Yeah, 100%.
Here we go, my terminal.
If you can see that. Okay. So we have like...
This big thumbs.
Yeah. So let's just clone here, okay? So we'll just clone your repository into here. So that basically says, okay, I want to clone this repository and resolve the conflicts locally. Oops. Git clone, and there we go. We're cloning the repository. And just go git 102. Whoops, ls. Okay. Now we've got that. Let's clear this up. Just gonna type git status. It says that I'm on the main branch.
So you've made a copy of it on your local machine now?
Yeah, so I've copied this repository, Git 102. I've copied it onto your local machine.
Mm-hmm.
And what I am going to do next is I also want to check your global editor.
Okay. Check away.
So Leanne has already set up her core for GitHub config as VS Code. So I will quickly remove that just to show something. And then we can close this file down. I do.
Yeah, you can save.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. So, and I'll close your VS Code as well. So anyway, so pretend this didn't happen. There you go. So now you are working on your local machine and you just want to go say like, okay, so let's do now git checkout. So what you normally do is you're on main and now you want to go to look at your other branch, which was called maybe conflict. So git checkout, maybe conflict branch. Cool.
And what does this actually do, checking out?
So git checkout, basically you switch to this branch. So it's like right now on the main, and when I click this, I git checkout maybe conflict. And now I look at the different branch.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
So now I did this in the CLI. I've checked out to that branch. So what I want to do is when I have my pull request, I basically said over here, it says that you've got a conflict. And what resolving conflict does, it basically goes to your main branch and it merges it into your conflicting branch. So that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to say git merge main. So what I really do is I take main and I merge into the branch that I'm currently in, which is maybe conflict. Okay. And then what it does say, it actually tells me, ooh, git conflict, merge conflict in README, fix conflicts, and then commit the result.
So why do you need to do this?
So you want to do this because like if the changes are too big, it's very hard to do them in the editor. So you want to do it in your local machine first.
Yeah.
And then when you resolve conflicts on your laptop, you then push the new version that does not have any more conflicts.
But why do you need to go to main to do this? Why can't you just do it in the maybe conflict branch?
Well, you are doing it in maybe conflict branch. So what you did is you went to main, pulled it, then you went to maybe conflict, and then you merge main into maybe conflict. So even though this says git merge main, it sounds like you're merging it into main, but actually you're merging main into maybe conflict.
But why?
Because you don't want to merge maybe conflict into your main branch.
But why are you merging any of them?
That's what the pull request is for. Because you don't want to override the wrong things.
Dan Pitt says, shouldn't you generally be on main before merging?
Yes, and we were. So
were we?
Yes, over here we say git checkout, maybe conflict. So we were on main, we went to maybe conflict, and then we merge main into it.
Oops. Kevin Black. So confused. You're not the only one. Perhaps you better run over that again, Michael.
No worries.
One more time.
Okay, so
For those of us at the back.
So let's have a look at our closed PR over here. When you go to this conflict, you can see that there is a message here that says merge branch main into conflict. Okay, so what GitHub does with that special button, it merges it for you, and then it merges the pull request. So effectively what you do is you create the pull request, then you merge main into your branch, and then you merge pull request back into the main. And I know it's really, it really sounds stupid. Yes.
Can you say that again?
So you have your main and you have your branch. You create pull request, but if you have a conflict, you have to merge your main into the branch, fix the conflict, and then merge your pull request into the main.
Okay, I think it's crystallizing in my brain now.
Okay.
I think basically okay.
So it's like if you want to bring your code into main, you have to fix your own problems first, and then you can merge.
Yeah.
You can't merge and fix problems on the main. You can, but it's bad practice.
So essentially what you've got a local copy of the, what's it called? Conflict branch. And what you've got to do is now get the stuff from the main into that so you can sort out the conflicts. After that, you're going to put it back into the main.
Okay, so I think I just went a little bit too fast with this, so let's do it again. So let's have a look. I'm on right now. Actually, I've started the merge, so...
Is what I just said wrong?
No, that's all right. We're just going to go over it again.
Dan Pitts says, oh, I get it now.
Okay, so let's have a look. Also, if all of a sudden you have a problem with your merge, here is a handy command, git merge -- abort. So basically says like, I don't want to merge anymore, so let's stop this. Okay, which is what we did. Let's go back to main. Sorry, git checkout main. There you go. Bottom. We're back to it.
Dan Pitts has summed it up nicely. So if there's a conflict, you merge into the secondary branch and resolve conflicts.
Yeah.
And then merge the resolve conflicts into the main.
Yeah, correct.
Exactly.
So
yes, I'm going to leave that on there for people to look at.
Yeah, cool. So
very good.
Let me show it in the UI again. So if we're in the main, we have this problem. So we have this text in the main branch. If we switch to another branch, we've got a different piece of text. So when we go to pull request, because they are different and they have changed to the point where Git cannot, normally what Git does is it tries to consolidate it based on the time changes when you've done that. So it can tell which is the previous, which change is back in time. But if you were doing changes like this, then it wouldn't know which is more important.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to tell it which one is more important.
Yeah.
And it tells you resolve conflict. And you can do it here in this UI. And what Git would do for you via this UI, it will basically merge main into your feature branch, fix the changes, and then merge your feature branch back into the main.
But unfortunately, they haven't sorted out this editor to a point where it's...
But the editor is not the most helpful. So you have to do some manual steps yourself. And these manual steps would be in your CLI. You have to do the same thing. You're on the main.
Just losing my shoe.
Whoops. You're on the main. You pull. That's all right. It says already up to date. Cool. We're good with that. Then you have to do the manual step of checking out the feature branch yourself.
That's maybe conflict. Uh-oh.
It doesn't autocomplete. That's all right. So I switch to it. Okay. Now I say git status. It says, and now I have to do it manually. I say git merge main.
So now you've put everything from main is now in maybe conflict.
Yeah. So now I'm basically saying, okay, all the changes that are in main, let me fix it in my feature branch, and then I'll merge it back.
Yep. As Dan Pitt says there
Yeah.
on the screen. Dave says,
Cool.
why can't we just give peace a chance? Peace isn't an option, Dave, when it comes to GitHub.
No, peace is not an option. Okay, so now when we have that conflict, what you can do is you can say git diff, and it tells you like this. So it gives you all of the kind of like all this gumph. And it basically gives you all these markers that you can resolve. And normally, what I advise people to do, before you do any of this, what you can do is set up your VS Code as your editor. So what you basically do, it says git config global, and then E means open it to edit. Okay.
Would it not be the default?
No, because when you install Git, the default is this, which is Vim.
This.
Okay.
Yeah, this.
So it opens in your terminal, and if you type something, nothing. Well, I mean, you can actually type stuff. Yeah. And the thing is that like it's very non-intuitive.
Yeah, you're telling me.
And a lot of people get stuck in it. So if you do get stuck in it, okay.
Which I do.
Okay, what you do is you hit escape, and then you type colon Q, which is quit, and then you type exclamation mark, which is like force quit, don't save anything. Yeah, so I don't want to save any of this. Okay, and I left it. So what you can do, you can basically say, let me show you how to do that. So what you can do is you go ahead and you Google git config location, and then you type in your kind of your system, Windows or Mac. So we're on Mac, and we go, okay, how to locate git config file on Mac.
So this is going to make it so that the branch, you can open it in VS Code and not in Vim.
Yeah. So what you do is it says home and it says git config. Okay.
Okay. So
home is like this. So let's have a look. Is it actually cat, which means it basically means list the file. Home.git config. Okay. Cool. And there's that file. So what I want to do is, because I have VS Code installed, I can just type code, and then I can type the same file name, git config. Okay. That opens VS Code. And what I want to do now is I want to say there is like a little snippet that you can paste. So what that means, it basically says create the main editor will be VS Code, and then there's just some also other setting. And the way you do that is you just Google git VS Code as main editor. Okay. And then you go there, and there will be plenty of different articles that basically like, yeah, copy this into your git config and you'll be fine.
So that answers Dan Pitt's question. Could you show the command to set up VS Code as default again? That's all of this, right?
Yeah, so the command to set up it as VS Code. So basically the location where the config that you need to update on your machine is located in your home path, git config. But you can Google where is git config on Windows or where is git config on Linux. Although on Linux it's the same place as on Mac. So if you're on Windows, just Google where it is and it will give you a location. If you're on Mac, this is it. You can find it there. Open it in code with this. So like that, git config, you open it. And then really the magic line that will do most work is this. Core editor equals code -- wait. It basically means wait until the VS Code opens. And then this is like the bonus on top. You don't have to add it, but if you want to, you can find it by Googling how to make VS Code my Git editor. And that's it.
Isn't line 10 the main one?
No, because that's a separate thing, but it will be beneficial because some tools call these lines on your behalf in VS Code.
Okay.
So that's all separate.
That's an interesting one. And what is the difference between GitHub Desktop and GitHub Command Line?
GitHub Desktop is just like another program that is like another layer on top of command lines. But the problem with that is if you get used to GitHub Desktop and all of a sudden you get yourself into a problem out of which you can't get out of, there's not much help for you. All of the help that you will get will usually be about Git with command line. So it's best to get used to it now. It's kind of like, learning how to swim in a kid pool. But if all of a sudden you get off a boat, you won't really get much help. So it's better to learn how to swim in the sea. Or not get on the boat. But yes. Not getting on the boat with Git is not an option. You have to be on this boat.
Basically, GitHub Desktop is an application that does a lot of this for you, but not really all of it. And if you get any troubles, it can be hard to sort it, I suppose. Okay. On we go.
Yeah, so let's save this. We close it. And let me remind you, the reason we do it is because we want to resolve a conflict, okay? And most conflict resolution tools make you enter Vim, and you don't want to go into Vim, okay? So what we want to do now is we can type...
What are conflict resolution tools?
Well, like how to resolve the conflict with VS Code. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open VS Code again on this folder. And then, yes, I trust the authors. Okay.
Okay.
And then when you go into source control tab, you will see that it tries to merge, and there is this like little exclamation mark, which is a marker for conflict. So you click on it. There you go. Look at this highlighting. See? Anyway,
green things.
Yeah, much nicer. So head, it basically tells you this is your current change, and this is the incoming change from the main. So this is the branch you're on, and this is the main branch. And then there are also buttons that tell you, like, you can just hit this, and it will edit everything you need. So you can say accept current change, incoming change, or you could, for example, keep both, and it will just delete the markers for you. Anyway, so I think what we need to do is we need to resolve all the conflicts and just hit accept current change, does all the magic. You save it, and you just hit OK. Sorry, no changes to commit yet. I need to stage that. And that's it. That text wasn't necessary. Awesome. Okay, and now when I type git status, it says all conflicts fixed. You're still merging. Okay. So what I want to do is git push. Everything is up to date. And if I go to my pull request now, on here, I should. Why did it not push?
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I need to commit it, I think. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, forgot to commit. There you go. So you need to commit your fixes, and now I can push. There we go. And pushed. And now you will have fixed the merge conflict, and now it's all green. It changed pretty much live as it, and as their content says, you haven't committed it. Exactly. Awesome. And there we go.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Got there in the end.
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay. And now we can all merge that, and we've fixed all the conflicts. There we go. And delete the branch.
What are these numbers here?
That just indicates the line changes on the file. So like one line added, 5 lines removed. Anyway, so now on to SSH, but let's probably answer the questions if we
that
have
one
any.
from eBay.
Cool. What's the difference between Git Bash and command line? When do you use which? So on Mac, you will use terminal, and Git Bash is basically like a Windows version approximation of that.
So they're the same thing, basically.
Kind of, yeah. It's like a flavor of Bash, which is a flavor of shell, which is probably a flavor of something else. But to be honest, I'm not super duper expert in Linux different shells.
So Bash is Linux?
Yes. Well, kind of.
Okay. And command
It's
line
complicated.
is Mac.
It's complicated. So command line is just a generic term for all of these different shells.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Earlier on, if I may, there was a question from, well, okay, there was a question. Is there a Git cheat sheet we can download?
To be honest, I would just Google Git Cheatsheet and try to find out which one you find the most. But I would probably delete most of the stuff on those cheat sheets to just have the main thing you need, and that's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we move on to SSH?
Cool. Yeah. So quite often, what you do have is basically like, why do people need to use SSH? And
What is SSH?
Okay. So what is SSH is really big topic. So I would just, like, it stands for
Secure Shell Protocol.
That's right. So it's just a way of transferring information, like from one computer to another computer. So the way you interact with HTTPS, like your browser uses one type of protocol, HTTP, to interact with websites, and it transfers information. Like website, it, for example, takes HTML, CSS, JavaScript files, and it transfers into your browser, and it opens them in your browser, and that loads.
Mm-hmm.
SSH is very similar, but the communication doesn't happen over HTTP. It happens over shell protocol, which is like within your terminal. So it's kind of, if you want to think about it, you can say that SSH is like HTTP, but for your terminal interactions. You can also use HTTP inside your terminal.
Okay. Well.
Anyway, so HTTPS is a secure version of HTTP. So you basically untangle and secure stuff from people so they don't know what's going on. And SSH is kind of like that as well. It basically obfuscates information. So if someone is listening to what you are transferring between two computers, even if they get that information, they wouldn't be able to tell what it is because it's all gobbledygook.
And what kind of things would you transmit with this?
So, like, for example, when I go to Google and I Google SSH, the information happens over HTTPS. So information flows from your computer to Google servers and back. And if someone listens on the connection, like, for example, if I sit with special device and intercept all the packets that go from your laptop to Wi-Fi and so on, then I wouldn't be able to tell what's inside of them because they're encrypted with special keys. Again, how that happens is there's so much information about that. There are really amazing YouTube videos. I'm in no way qualified to explain it properly. But think about it like it's basically a way to make sure that no one is listening when you're talking on the phone. Kind of like that. Yeah, so HTTPS does it for HTTP. No one can listen on your HTTP phone calls. It's not really a phone call. And SSH does it for your shell communication.
Okay.
So whenever you go, for example, like when you say git push, what it does, it transfers files from your computer to GitHub servers, and it uses HTTPS for that information.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some drawbacks to using HTTPS. So, and the problem with HTTPS is that you need to log in with Git. Yeah, so when you first set up your Git machine, you had to log in with your username and password. So for example, when you push something, you usually get prompted, what's your GitHub username? What's your GitHub password? And that gets saved on your machine. So for example, if someone steals your machine, then they would be able to then open your terminal and push stuff to my repository.
Would they?
So
No crumbs.
oftentimes what people do is they say, set up SSH key so you can revoke it and you wouldn't be able to push it. There are also other benefits, but kind of the main one is that it's easy to revoke your access with SSH keys.
So if you leave your laptop on the train, as Michael has on occasion, you can revoke access and people can't listen in on what you're sending to GitHub, I think is what he means.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be able to listen in what's going on with your communication with GitHub. There are some benefits to SSH as well, apart from that. And also, it's the ease of revoking your access to pushing. So for example, if I lose your laptop, you will still be able to go to your GitHub repository and say, these SSH keys that are stored on my computer, I can delete them. So whoever tries to push to these repositories wouldn't be able to.
Okay, great. How do we do that then?
So how do we do that? Again, there are really good docs for that too. So
yes, but we want you to tell us, Michael.
That's right. And oftentimes we'll kind of also walk through it. So GitHub actually itself tells you how to do it properly. And so you don't get scared. It's actually pretty straightforward. So we'll pretty much walk through together because this is like the main guide for people to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Interesting. Okay.
I hope you all feel ready now.
Yeah. So what we need to do. So let me just quickly remove this whole repository. We are done with it for now. MRF, and let's say Git 102. Okay, cool. There you go. It's all gone. So now your SSH keys on your computer are normally stored in your home directory .ssh. So you can just go there.
Is this going to show all my keys on the screen?
So you can just list them. And as we can tell, you've got no keys.
Oh, that's okay.
You've got no SSH keys on your computer. So what we need to do is we need to create some.
You didn't actually ask me before you did that. So if I had that.
I've checked your computer before.
I don't think you have.
I have. So.
You just assumed that I wouldn't know how to set it up. So I don't have any.
No, I checked it. I checked it during your lunch. So.
Okay.
There is a CLI command, SSH keygen, and it's usually pre-installed on pretty much every single laptop. So you will have it installed, and you can run that. So it gives you the command here. So SSH keygen, T stands for type, and this is the type of encryption. You can just copy that type of encryption. That's all good. And then it says -C, which is comment your email address. So basically it provides a comment for you. So if you come across and you're like, what's this key again? You will see inside of a file, it will tell you what the key actually is. Okay, so you can do that. And don't worry, we'll also record it on the stream, but all these keys will be destroyed after the stream, so you wouldn't really be able to do anything with them anyway. Okay.
Jessica asks, would the keys be visible if any existed?
Yes.
Oh.
So when you say ls, well, I'll show you in a bit. Just
be careful on that one then. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is there you go. Okay, it says generating. There we go. So it says generating public-private encryption type key pair. So it will. This keygen will create two different keys. One of them is private, which you do not show to anyone. Another one is public, which you can share with anyone you want. Okay, now it tells you you need to create the password for that file. So I'll just create some password, which will be pumpkin123. Oh, sorry, that's the file name. Whoops. Anyway, the keys will be deleted anyway, so it's okay if you know my password. And so the file name will be, I normally try to create a file name which is like descriptive about where it's what's it meant to be used for, and that would be Lian MacBook GitHub. Okay. And now I can put pumpkin123. Okay. And then it says again, pumpkin123. Okay, cool. It has generated
alien communications.
Yeah, it generated the key. This is the comment that we've given, and then it just gives you some art. Anyway, so when you type ls,
random art.
When you type ls, here's your key. So we can, for example, have a look at public key. There it is. And then you can also have a look. We can also have a look at your private key. But right now, there you go. Here's your private key. Just a note. We're showing this for the stream. Never, ever, ever share this with anyone. So this is, if it says private, it's private. It's like nobody can know this.
No.
So it's better even if you don't look at it yourself, you know?
Yikes.
But to be fair, like...
Because you might remember it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you have photographic memory, there you go. You might remember it. Anyway, so there we go. Now we've got those keys. What we want to do is the next step would be adding it to SSH agent. So SSH agent is a special utility that basically manages the key for you. So every time you would try to do something with the key, it will just like you won't have to provide it or anything. It will just do it for you. So all you need to do is
kind of like a password manager.
Yeah, it's like a password manager for your SSH keys. That's right. So this one is, let's check it's running. And it's running. So it will give you PID's process ID. And this is on your machine. This is where it's running. Okay. And then the next step will be basically just say SSH add. So let's just type that. SSH add key. And you just give the path to that key, which we have just created.
Oh.
SSH. And then what was that? Lian. Yeah, there you go. So you give to your private, and it says, give me a password. Everybody remembers, pumpkin123. Okay, we've added that identity. And now what we need to do, it then just says, add your SSH key to your GitHub. So we have created the pair, private and public. You add private to SSH add, and you add public to github.com.
Yeah.
So what you do is you can say cat, which is list, like output the inside of a file into here. So cat public key. There you go. So you can copy this, and then you can go to github.com, go into your settings. And then there will be SSH and GPG keys. You click on that. Add SSH key. You say new SSH key, title, Lian, MacBook, GitHub. So this title can be anything, but as I said, it's better if you keep it descriptive, like who is the owner, where is it stored, what is it for? Or you can reverse it any way you want. You can just actually write Lian's MacBook, private key for GitHub. So it could be any name you want. Okay, and then when you add a SSH key, you will be prompted to put your password. Okay, and there you go. You've added it. So why do we do that? So what we can do is now you can, when you clone repositories, so we go back to our, So we go back to our GitHub 102. So when you click code, there is a tab over here that means SSH. So you can tab on that, and now you can clone your repository using SSH protocol. So now we just go to, I think it was in Documents.
Didn't you delete it?
Yeah, so I have deleted it, and now we can clone it with SSH.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same. But now I don't have to put my password in. I don't have to do anything. SSH add already knows that there is your private key in it. And when you're using SSH, it will use that to basically unlock all the doors. So think about SSH as like that key card in the hotel. You know, you don't have to put the key in the hole and anything like that. You just swipe it and it lets you in. And now that's kind of it. You can do anything you want. So what we're going to do is, for example, let's make some changes. We open this up. Oop, actually, no, I need to go into the Git 102 folder. That's right. Okay. So open the repository up. There you go. And now, for example, hello from SSH.
Ukraine. Not Ukraine.
Wales. So hello from Wales with SSH. Cool.
And pumpkin.
And pumpkin. But well, okay, so now I can just say git add git let's say learning SSH. Cool. And now I can just say git push. And that's it. We have pushed it. And now if we refresh the repository, there you go. It has uploaded it. So now what SSH allows me to do is, remember, like we mentioned, what's going to happen if all of a sudden somebody steals your laptop, and what you can do is you just log into your GitHub and you say, okay, I don't want this key. I want to delete it. Delete it. So now, if I go back to my repository, so I've deleted the SSH key. I want to steal your repositories. There you go. And now we can also commit that. Robber commits. I mean, it's surprising that some robbers were leveling up, in GitHub, and they stole your laptop, and now they want to steal everything.
Could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. So now, when they're trying to push to your repositories,
Later.
They get permission denied, could not read from remote repository. I say, yeah, that's right.
That sound is called piano loser. Yes.
Okay. And now that's pretty much it. Now you know how to secure everything with your SSH, how to create that pair, and kind of also, if you're just practicing GitHub on your local machine, then if you're really tired of inputting passwords on your local, then you could just grab a key pair, create the SSH, and that's it. It would be way easier for you to work with your local GitHub repositories.
So some people, for example me, have received an email saying from GitHub, you recently used a password to access your repository. Basic authentication using a password to Git is deprecated and will soon no longer work. What's the solution to this then?
Yeah, use SSH keys.
So you've got to do it all the time now, or soon you will have to do this.
Well, luckily you do it only once, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you create the key pair, you add your private key to SSH add, you add your public key to GitHub, and that's it, that's done.
Okay.
So
great news.
Yeah. and I'll just clean up your, off the screen, I'll just clean up your SSH keys.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll
you don't
play
have...
this.
Cool. And that's that. So now, you know, nobody can use that anyway because it's been deleted. So
it's been deleted. It no longer exists.
there you go.
Oh.
So
What's the difference between SSH key and personal access token? When do we need to use personal access token?
So think of personal access token as like a one-time SSH key. So you grant it for one repository to do what you need, while SSH keys can be reused in different places. But use SSH.
Okay. You have to clone specifically with SSH for this to work, yes?
Correct.
If I'd used HTTPS, it would still be vulnerable?
I wouldn't say vulnerable. You just wouldn't be able to use SSH to work with your repository. But what you can do is, in the previous session, I have shown that every GitHub repository, let me clear this up. So inside of any GitHub repository on your local machine, you have ls, and that lists all your files. But if you type lsa, that lists all the files, and there is .git folder in there. So .git folder has all sorts. ls. Oh yeah. So there is it has all the information about GitHub on your local machine. So what you can do, there is that file over here called config. So if you open it, this will point to the branches that you have. This will point to origin. And over here, it says URL. And it says GitHub. And it points to the URL that you have used from here. So like that. So what you can do, if you cloned it with HTTPS, you would have like this. All you need to do is just go to your repository, hit on SSH, copy that, and replace that URL with SSH link, save it, and now you can use your SSH key for existing repositories. So you don't really have to delete all the folder and clone it again. You just replace your HTTPS with SSH, and you're good to go again.
Nice. Great news. Dave says, where are you getting these sounds from? Well, Dave, that is a trade secret, I'm afraid. Never let them see how the sausage is made. To finish off, I will... Oh, actually, no. Let's have a look at the current submissions for the weekly Web Dev Challenge. As you may know, well, I mentioned earlier, we have this accessibility challenge, which will now be in the chat. And yeah, already got some
nice
submissions. Dave, this is yours. This is cool because I have this, and then if I put my machine, I think it was in here, onto dark mode.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is with a media query.
Oh wow. That's amazing.
I know. Yeah, very nice, Dave. And we have this one. Now, no one can say this doesn't have an outline. Look at that outline.
It does.
Very nice. Yes, super cool. And then this. Very nice one. And the outline matches the button color.
Neat.
I think so. And then Brenda has made this lovely one with a gradient and a palm tree background. Nice and responsive. Lovely. Okay, yes. So do submit your solution to this. Make this form nice and accessible. Yes, and maybe you will get 6 months free of Scrimba Pro. Next time, GitHub tutorial of project management and other stuffs, please.
GitHub tutorial of project management.
Would that be GitHub or like?
I don't know.
We can do one on project management. That's a good idea. Oh.
Fair enough.
I have a question on submitting the challenge. When I'm done editing the live scrim and go back to the video so as to get the preloaded tweet, I notice that all my edits on my scrim disappear. Well, so you see here, there's this little tick. If you tick this, and then you can open it in a new page.
And that gives you a new scrim link.
Yeah, this is the link you should share.
Yeah.
And hopefully what you've already done will be saved here in notes.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. But I went ahead and sent in my work. Does that mean when I submitted the link, none of my work was sent in? If that happens, I'll let you know, basically. Sometimes people do that and they send me the link to the actual challenge, but I just say to them, can you send in your solution? Yes.
Yeah.
To finish, slightly over time, but never mind. Also, what do you do when you really screw something up and need to go back to your previous commit?
If you really screw something up, well, you can go back to the commit by saying git checkout and you give the commit name. But if you have really screwed up, delete the folder on your local machine and clone the repository again.
And if you've already pushed it?
Well, hopefully, like...
Speaking from experience?
Yeah, if you work on your own, it's a mistake that you will learn from, which is good. If you work with someone else, before you screw something up and you're like, oh, I really don't know what I'm doing, ask for help. Like with Git, it's absolutely 100%. If you're not sure about something, ask for help. Because, you know, it's like a very dangerous animal that you do not know what's going on with. So feel free to ask for help.
Maxam just pointed out that you can't actually see the tick. So I will do that again. This. Yes, start editing code. And here it is. This one here.
Yeah, at the bottom.
And then this. Open new page.
Cool.
Yes. How can I get 6 months free of Scrimba? By winning the weekly web dev challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. Does it have to be in Scrimba? Can it be a Git hosted project? It can be a Git hosted project. Yeah, some people send those in.
Yeah.
Send that in. Yes. What about Git rebase? How does that work?
Well, that is definitely a
whole separate live stream. Okie dokie. Okay then. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for joining us. We will be here. Oh, I should have not. We will be here.
There. Yeah.
Here. No.
No, not that one. Upcoming.
Yes. Here.
Friday.
We will be making our own nice, accessible form.
Oh, actually, looking forward to learning about it.
Yeah, it will be nice.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can all come along and see us coding and see our cat Pumpkin live in action.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh, nice.
Very informative. Good to hear.
If you still have any questions, reach out to us on Discord.
Well, reach out to Michael. I'm unlikely to be any help, but
yes.
I can try.
And don't forget, Leon, we always forget. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Scrimba YouTube channel.
That's right. Yeah, really good.
Oh, I feel so bad for saying this.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. It's just like as if I'm asking.
Well, whilst we're on the
desperate.
topic, you can check out my YouTube channel as
well.
well.
Yeah, there you go.
I have got a new video coming soon, this week, I think, about HTML meter and progress bars.
Is Scrimba YouTube channel not subscribed to you?
No.
Well, there you go. Click it.
No.
Why not?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I should.
Anyway, well, don't be like Scrimba YouTube channel and subscribe to Leanne. Oops, sorry,
Maybe I should. I feel bad doing it myself.
Oh, come on, go for it. Go for it.
Maybe
Do
I should.
it. Do it. Do it.
See you on Friday.
See ya.